A million people in the crowd, but I only...
What's up, y'all? Welcome back. It's Adam Lee Henderson. This is my YouTube channel. Thank y'all for stopping by for yet another exclusive interview of A Singer's Truth. When I met this next guest, I instantly fell in love and inspired by his skill, his talent, and most importantly, his love for music. And I wanted to sit down and talk to him, of course, about his ministry perspective, music perspective, and also the industry. This format may be a little bit different because we have to do a virtual interview because he lives in the great state of Tennessee. Of course, I wish I could be there with him, but this virtual interview was great nonetheless. Take a look at this next clip. This is Philip White singing his newest single, I Trust You.
Every road taken, I'm never forsaken. Every tear shed, I'm never misled. I'm caught in the crossfire. Can be so easy to surrender. I try not to remember, but yesterday won't pass me by. So that's the reason why I trust you. I trust you. I trust you. And still believing it's just the reason. Could have been a victim of the road less traveled. Still I'm an overcomer, and that's the reason I surrender. I surrender all to answer the call. See, I'm trying to remember, but yesterday won't pass me by, and that's the reason why I trust you. I trust you. For more than one reason, I trust you. See, the strength in believing is just the reason I trust you. See, every road taken, I'm never forsaken. I took the road less traveled, and I made it against all odds. And that's the reason I trust you. The reason I love you, the reason I trust you, the reason I praise you. I trust you because in a world that's going wrong, you show up in my struggle. You even show up in my song as the merry-go-round.
Yeah, how's everything going?
Going good, man. As good as it can in the middle of COVID.
I know. Having this kind of dynamic is interesting, but I'm going to make it work. You know what I mean? I'm going to do the best. But it allows me to reach out to, singers in different areas. So I mean, I'm loving the process. But you know what? I'm honored that you decided to come and spend time with me. I'm so grateful because this is still a new process that I'm kind of endeavoring. I'm growing in it. I'm learning. People like you don't have to sit down with me, so I really honor and appreciate that.
Wow, I'm blessed. I'm thankful that you did reach out, man. And
yeah,
this is awesome.
Let's go ahead and get started.
man, let's get started.
First of all, how are you? How you feeling?
I'm doing good, man. I'm man.
Good. Are you back like in the flow of things? I know with COVID-19 we kind of been out.
I would say 80% of everything is a Zoom call or at the just the
Oh wow.
chat. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
are moving based on technology that we have, and yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow. So what do you do outside of music for a living?
I actually work in finance, actually for a ministry company. It's called Every Nation Ministry. So shout out Every Nation. I actually attend Bethel World Outreach. Bethel World Outreach is an Every Nation church. So my church family, church community, I can say, I really mean it. It's worldwide in that
Oh
there are
wow.
all over the world that we're reaching, and just missionaries and campus ministry and outreach.
Beautiful.
It's great to be a part of something like that. When you look at whether open doors or not, I'm in a position of serving even through employment. It's an opportunity to see the big picture.
So I guess in that brings my next question, because I wanted to ask you like, what do you do locally?
Hmm.
With your local church. So I'm guessing that you make a huge
Well,
impact.
yeah. I sing on the worship team at my church, and I
Yeah.
get a chance to do worship leading from time to time as well. And I've been doing that it's been about 13 years.
What kind of pushed you to kind of start doing your own solo music? Because I see that you've only been doing it for a few years now. Well, as far as putting your own music out, what was that journey like?
I mean, when I was, getting out of high school, out of college, I just felt like, oh, I want to sing. I want to do, I want to do this professionally. After college, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee. So I moved from Jacksonville, Florida, and I moved here 13 years ago now. And
Yeah.
and then I started to pursue it, still taking steps, kind of watching what was going on in the industry, the events that was coming to Nashville, Tennessee is really
Mm.
a hub for all of that. And then I finally put an album out like last year. So
I listened to your whole album the last couple of days. The latest one, I love it. I can honestly hear different perspectives in that music. Like I felt like I wasn't listening to one genre. It was just like a melting pot of so many vibes and moods. And were you purposely trying to do that when you created that music?
I can say it's purpose, but I also can tell you it's just kind of how I would do it based on, like I said, the perspective. That's the big picture I'm talking about. You don't want to leave anybody out. Sometimes it's good to come from one perspective and just hone it and just have that one perspective.
Mm.
But my makeup at this point now, and it was from the beginning. It's the kind of person I am. I don't want to leave anybody out. So you have a choir song here, but then you'll have straight CCM, a
Absolutely.
writer from Canada. I mean, just like, and I try not to be too extreme. I still want it to be cohesive, but I want to reach as many as possible.
I think my favorite song off of the album, I narrowed it down between I Trust You and Choose Ye. And I think Choose Ye really did something to me. I played that back like 10
Yeah.
times.
Go with Choose You.
What's,
Go win. That's the whinings right there. Go with that.
but what is your favorite? If you had to pick one.
It's Choose You. It's that.
Yeah.
That was an experience, man.
What was it? What was that like?
Well, first thing is that when I decided to do it, I was like, man, that's gonna be tough because it's Marvin Winans and Vanessa Bell Armstrong. These are like staples. Like you can't mess with this. You got to do it
Yeah,
right.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So I had to seek out a producer that understood the Winans. And my producer Phil Hewley, man, he understands the Winans. Like if you say Carnegie Hall to him, okay, that's a trigger for the concert they had at Carnegie Hall. So he just came to me and told me how we need to do it. He said, if you want this done right, this is the process. So
Who influences you when you're making music today?
man, when it comes to gospel music, it's so hard to narrow that down for me.
Yeah.
But I can start with like the male influences. Like growing up, there was groups like Commission. But then when you can begin to individualize everybody in those groups, you got Fred Hammond, Pastor Marvin, and B.B. Winans. Pastor Don McClurkin is a huge influence for me. The list goes on and on. Andre, Kirk Franklin. So that it's hard for me to narrow it down. But then the female artists is the Clark sisters and CeCe Winans. So that's more of the pool. That's where I'm coming from.
What made you choose "I Trust You" as your final single, or maybe I should say, why is that song so relevant to you right now?
I can tell you right now, it has a lot to do with the fact that COVID-19 hit. But even with COVID-19, so the racism that's been going on too,
Oh,
people just
yeah,
feeling really hopeless right now.
absolutely.
So I trust it has to be being him. So yeah.
Do you feel like COVID-19 kind of messed up your momentum, or you feel like God has been blessing even in spite of?
I would say he's been blessing in spite of, because
Mm,
I'll tell you, with I Trust You, this great big campaign came out. Like
mm,
I'm not representing right now because we put I Trust You T-shirts out there, and I'm supposed to be wearing
I
that.
saw that.
Like, but we sold out of those T-shirts, and people were really grabbing
Oh,
hold of that. We put
wow.
1123 on there. I can do exceedingly abundantly, and people just really grabbed a hold to it. It just was. It seemed like it was right on time.
So when people are listening to your album today, what message do you want to convey?
My entire goal before all of this was to inspire, was to encourage people's hearts. Because the
Mm,
album is called Heart to Heart. As an artist, you don't always feel like you can do this all the time. You don't always feel like you have what it takes. At least I did. I hope that it can build people's faith and encourage their hearts. That's my whole goal with this. So yeah.
But you just mentioned that as an artist, sometimes you kind of second guess that. How do you overcome that feeling?
I fight it a lot of different ways. I fight it practically. I fight it spiritually. One
Yeah.
way that I do it is that I literally, sometimes I take a listen to the music and I listen to the message and I try to line it up and say, is this really it? Is this blessing me?
Mm,
That's how I can kind of figure out whether or not it will bless somebody else.
mm,
Um, and then in my case too, just kind of have to ask God, so Lord, you gave it to me. So I'm just going to depend on you to push it through
come
the
on.
way. So
Yeah,
that's how and then David, the Bible says he encouraged himself in the Lord, and that's
that's
just kind
right.
of how I put. Yeah.
Wow. What is one thing, or maybe a couple of things that you've learned since you've been in this industry? Anything that kind of stuck out to you?
A couple of things I learned. I learned what practice means, and so you can practice in a certain way that what you've learned from in church, in ministry, maybe even in like school if you're part of chorus or whatever it is. But when I began to see at all these award shows, I sang in a choir for Carrie Underwood,
Mm,
and the level of perfection, the way we rehearsed for that was, I had never been a part of a rehearsal like that. I mean,
wow.
everything that we did, it was to the letter. I mean, when it's time for performance, there's really no way you can mess up because of the way you rehearse. So
Mm,
I understood the power of a really a perfect rehearsal, and I also got a chance to see that at the Stellars. Like I've been up close near like Kirk Franklin, Pastor Donnie McClurkin, Yolanda Adams. I've been like right there at the rehearsal,
mm.
and then and hanging out with the crew backstage. You just understand that, man. Listen, the rehearsal you did for your Easter play at church is not the same as the rehearsal that these guys do. I mean, what they're doing is not by chance; it's intentional, and they have honed their
Mm.
craft. Whether it's a secular world, Carrie Underwood, or whether it's Yolanda Adams, this thing is it's a craft. So that's what I learned.
What's next for you moving forward? What are you looking forward to?
I am looking forward to, of course, more projects. I want to kind of dig deeper on the next one and just really bring in some more elements.
Mm,
Want to raise up, my business enterprise in that way, because we had a really successful run with the T-shirts and everything. And I wasn't a merchandise type of person, but I found a lot of purpose in it with the last single that we did, I Trust You. So I kind of
mm.
want to explore more areas of the business. I also want to just bring in more ministry elements. I want an opportunity. I want to do a project that really brings in an opportunity for me to reach the people on a stereo level, in terms of not just performing, but really being able to take the time out to reach people in their churches, even to the point of maybe even making conferences one day. You never know. Just
Oh,
being able to
wow.
share wisdom that I have, 1 and 2 day conferences, because it's like we need to make sure we get in the communities and really giving and being a resource. So
Absolutely.
my hope is to maybe even make maybe an album with my wife, an EP, a duet EP with my wife. So I'm really
Oh,
taking a look at different ways that I can, yeah, because Patricia is, that's the singer. My wife that's the one. Like when you listen to Choose You, you like, that's okay. Now see, so I want to make sure that she is out there. See, she won't sing. She won't get out there and make. So I'm the ambitious one.
uh-huh.
So getting out with her and putting something out there, because she'll sing with me. So
Mhm.
that's, yeah.
Speed round. You ready? Favorite day of the week.
Friday,
Favorite color.
red.
Favorite song.
It's gonna be a Whitney Houston song. Didn't we almost have it all?
Ooh. All right, favorite snack?
French fries.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Shopping, spending too much money in the store. Yeah.
I ain't mad at that. Here's a good one. What is a dream opportunity that you would like to experience?
I'd love to sing like with the London Symphony. Like I'd love to tour overseas.
Are you a morning or night person?
Night.
Who is maybe your favorite artist?
Favorite artist is Whitney Houston.
What's your favorite book?
Is a book called Their Eyes Were Watching God.
Ooh.
Zora Neale Hurston.
Last but certainly not the least, what is your favorite scripture?
My favorite scripture is I can do all things through Christ.
Come on.
Who strengthens me. That is my favorite scripture.
Look, I'm so thankful for you. I love you so much, dude. I'm telling you, I'm supporting you. I can see you doing great things. Hey guys, so that was my conversation with the amazing Philip White. You know, it's so easy to talk to great people like him. He has so much insight and knowledge about the industry. It gives us an opportunity to know what it's like behind the scenes. Y'all, please go support his album. It's out now, Heart to Heart, on all digital outlets. You will love it. Listen to that Choose Ye First. That is the best song. I love it. As I always say, give somebody a hug, tell somebody you love them, and tell them how much you care, because you never know, that may be the only time they hear it. Thank y'all for tuning in to yet another edition of A Singer's Truth. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.